Ladies and gentlemen, and gamers of all variety, welcome back to Gamer Guide channel. I am Gamer Guide and also play Rollin in Robocraft. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the Taurus and building it after this match video is done. This is just a match I played earlier today to demonstrate how the Taurus maneuvers and what some of his features are. This is a ultra-light bomber made entirely out of TX-1 cubes, well actually mostly out of TX-1 prisms. It does use a couple of arrow rods, as you see, to mount the guns, and has two internal long arrow rods as well too. It's holding everything together. A lot of small thrusters go into this, and a little bit of decoration, but the reason for this craft is I wanted something to be extremely maneuverable and have a small footprint. So this is only a 7x14 footprint for the main body, making it extremely small and hard to hit, because after all, making your enemy miss is better than even hitting electroplate or making your enemy not hurt you that much. So that's the concept behind this vehicle. It does have the ability to climb very quickly, unlike some of the other crafts, and flies very well. Even with the S-wing design that may seem a little unusual, but works very well, as you'll see through the rest of this match. And I've been having lots of fun with it. It's probably one of my favorite bombers right now. It's basically my fourth iteration of these exoskeleton style flyers with the armor on the outside and the guts in the middle, including your thrusters, wings, all that kind of stuff. And it seems to work really well. You guys feel free to give a comment below. Let me know what you think of it if you build it for yourself, and I'd appreciate it if you would also thumbs up this video. Helps me out a lot. And I'm going to let you guys listen to music as the rest of this match plays out, or if you'd like, you can go ahead and skip ahead by clicking the little skip ahead annotation in the bottom corner now, just to go start building this thing for yourself. Anyway guys, I'll talk to you as soon as this match wraps up in the build garage. You guys might be wondering, why did I show you guys a game in which I lost? Well, if I could do this well in a game in which I lost, imagine how well you can do with a team of your peers or with a better team in general. So I like this craft a lot. I think you guys will too. It's bringing me lots of games with 0 deaths, and with the right pilot, you can get the same kind of results. So this is the parts you're going to need to put this together for yourself. It's a lot and a lot of TX-1 blocks, as you see. Uses just 6 of those plasma blasters, but does also have a radar and radar jammer. And then you can kind of choose your own cosmetic parts. It will take a little time for you to put this together. So there is a lot of prism plating that goes into it, and could be considered a more difficult build. But if you take your time and just hit the pause button and go back if you need to, I think you'll find that it's very doable. If you guys aren't sticking around, please thumbs up this video, and if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and come back soon for some more Robocraft and other videos here on Gamer Guide channel. Alright, let's go ahead and get started on building the Taurus. The first thing you'll need to do is name your vehicle. Name it whatever you'd like. I just chose Taurus because I kind of like the idea of a flying blue bull at the time. I thought it was different, so I went with that. I'm actually not a Taurus, if you're wondering that. I'm actually a Libra. So, but it was just something fun and a unique name. So, first thing we need to do is put down our TX-1 prisms. I'm using that spot 4 back, and then every other spot I'm putting these prisms facing the same way. And this is going to be the starting of our bottom layer of prism plating. So we're going to go all the way back here. Alright, and now we're just going to flip around to the other side and add our prisms connecting to the other flat side. So we're just kind of filling in the holes here and creating a pattern as we go back. Okay, and then here at the back we're going to add just a couple more. We'll put one there. These are both inners. And then we're going to have our smoothed cornered inners here on the back side, just for a little bit more decoration. Right up on the front we'll add a couple inners here. And then we're just going to create a front bottom of the craft here with inners and tetra coming up to the nose. And we'll put one inner right here in the middle. Now let's go ahead and lift this entire thing up using period and comma. At least by default, will change the height of your vehicle blocks. Now we're going to extend up here on the nose by 2 using regular TX-1 cubes. And now we're going back to using inner. And we'll create this little pillar. This is where we're going to run a lot of our thrusters and important gear. Here we're using a prism, and now I think we'll get to work on the internals of this vehicle, as it's going to be easier to put the shell around later. Make sure to turn off your mirror line for this particular part, as this is not going to be symmetric here in the middle part of the craft, for much of it at least. We'll get back to the mirror line here in a little bit. But for right now, we're doing things differently on the left and right side. So these are kind of mirror images. On the top we're going to put a prism, and on the bottom we're going to put a prism on opposite sides. Now we're using the long arrow rods here. These are the ones that are 5 blocks long. One on the bottom, one on the top. And that is going to connect the front and the back area together for the pilot seat. On the opposite side, we're going to connect it up again using these prisms. And then underneath, a couple tetra. And these will come together to build our rear support for extra thrusters and wings and good stuff like that. Alright, now we're going to bring these two sides together. I'm using inners here. You can face them any way you'd like, really. And then we'll connect them together with inners, and we're going to run this extension back to the middle here in a second. But first, let's put the prisms again on one on the bottom, one on the top, just like we did on the other side. And now here in the middle, we'll run these up to where the pilot seat's going to be, leaving a space again for where we're going to be putting a Mark IV thruster here in a second, as a last-ditch effort to escape if we do get blown into little bits. We're using these Mark IV rudders as our wings, and putting one on the top and one on the bottom like this, with the flat side away from the pilot. So we're going to do that on both sides. And this is an S-wing design, and it is stable, believe it or not. It flies really well. Alright, turn back on your mirror line, as now we're going to start adding things like thrusters, and these blocks and stuff will all be back to being mirror image. Alright, I'm just using that there as a temporary block so I can turn this so the flat side's out. We don't have any chip corners showing from the outside. And now we'll get rid of that. And now let's go ahead and put some thrusters on this thing. So we're going to be using Mark IV here for the ejector seat, right on the bottom. Then we're going to go to our Mark VIII thrusters. These are our main thrusters, and they'll be connected right here underneath the pilot seat. Then going back to Mark IV, these are going to be for upward thrust, and then some more forward momentum here with our Mark IV on the back, helping push us forward. Now we're going to Mark II. Yes, we're actually using Mark II thrusters on a Mark X vehicle, but because of how small it is, it works very well, and especially because of how light it is, it works very well. So you actually do have usable reverse with only 4 of the Mark II thruster on this thing. Alright, now we're going to extend this up to the top level. We're now going to be adding some white temporary blocks, and this will just make it a little easier for us to do our prism plating. So just run these back as I'm showing it, all the way down and around the pilot seat. Here on the back. And we're just going to cover this entire thing. Eventually we'll be removing these and just putting in our TX-1 prisms in the right spot to create our plating. Okay, we're just going to create a couple temps on the back so we can put this prism like that. And you'll notice here on the back I'm not actually connecting any of the rear to the main chassis. Now you can choose to change that if you want to, but it's been working pretty good without actually being attached to the main drive line, I guess you can call it, where the pilot sits on it. I do connect to the top and I do connect to the front, but here at the back I run all these prisms so they're not touching that middle part. But you can change that up if you want to, and maybe you'll have just as good of luck as I have using the other configuration. Alright, we're going to go ahead and run an extra couple of these white blocks here, so we can place these inners with the chip corner hidden. And then I'm bringing this out a little bit more too, so we can put some of these prisms here, face this way, connected to the top. I'll get rid of that, so I add another prism here, also sideways, then we get rid of it again. Should still be connected to the white cubes though, which eventually become TX-1 blocks, or TX-1 prisms. We're going to use some more of those rounded inner here on the back. And let's go ahead and put a prism right here too, connected to that, and we can get rid of that white block. And now we have a completely TX-1 back. Now we got to start on the top. Okay, there's going to be a couple inconsistencies here with the prism plating, so pay attention to this part. We are going to go ahead and start running a rim around the front, so we'll start with our TX-1 blocks there. I'm going to remove our pilot seat just for a second, so we can put another white block there as a temp, and then run one of our prisms with the flat side where the pilot would be, and then we'll put this back. And let's see, we got to pull out this spot here too, to behind the seat, and run the prism to the flat side that way. And now let's go ahead and we're going to make a checkerboard pattern here, going all the way up, so some of your white blocks and the ship will turn red, but don't worry about that because we're going to be filling it back in with the TX-1 prisms to give us our top side armor. Go ahead and start filling it in now. Put one right here behind the pilot seat, which will connect it to the rest of the craft. Alright, now we're going to go and pull out some more of these white blocks. The ones in between the prisms we just placed. And we'll connect prisms going the other direction. We're going to run these all the way down the side. Alright, now a couple here in the front are with the flat side faced forward, so we'll go ahead and put our prisms here on this white block, and then let's go ahead and pop out this one here and put another prism in these spots, all faced with the flat side to the front. So one there, and one on the left and the right side. And then these other white blocks here in the front, we're going to be putting helium there in a little bit, so we'll leave that alone for right now. Just taking them out to move them, but we're not going to be putting any prisms right here. Okay, we'll go ahead and put our helium in, and you can have these helium faced any way you want. I just like the look of this with the HE up, but do however you want. We'll put 3 here and 3 on the other side, and this gives us some increased stability and stuff if we lose a wing. Also helps us move very slow so we can bomb those towers a lot easier with this helium. Because a lot of people don't think about, how slow can I go? It's usually about how fast I can go, which this craft does get very fast, about 252 miles an hour with all its parts attached. But it also can get down very, very slow, so you can just crawl over those towers and lay down some of your plasma. And like you saw in that match, it works very well, and makes it really easy to get a good aim on what you want to hit. Alright, top and bottom side now, we're just running these prism all the way down. This will create a frame for our side prism plating. Alright, here on the corners we're going to add some tetra. And let's see. Go ahead and run these prisms up the side here on the nose too. Let's go and switch over to some temporary blocks, and we'll run 3 up here on that tetra. Okay, we got top and bottom side, and we're just going to use that as a place so we can mount these inners and this prism a little easier. Let's put a regular old TX-1 cube here on the bottom, and then we can go and get rid of these temps. Now let's go ahead and switch back over to our prisms, and we'll run these all the way down here on the side and in the front, just covering up our thrusters and our important guts. Okay. Now here on the side, we're going to run our temporary blocks all the way down, filling in everything here on the sides, and we're going to use that same technique to make kind of a checkerboard pattern and make our prism plating on the left and right sides. Alright, starting at the back, we'll remove these top and bottom, and then create a checkerboard pattern all the way down the side. Okay, now we're going to use these prisms and put the flat side against the white blocker face forward. And then the other flat side will create a smooth surface on the outside, on the left and right. Alright, there we go. So now we're going to pop out the rest of these white temporary blocks. And we're going to put prisms on the flat side, kind of completing that plating, going all the way forward. And when it's all connected, all the red prisms in the middle will disappear. Just continue going all the way forward. Bottom and one here on top, and this last one here at the very end. There we go. Okay, now it's time to create a little more protection for our pilot seat area. So we'll put two inners here flanking left and right to the rear, and then these are going to be temporary as we want to put these prisms upside down but not connected to the underside. And we'll get rid of these temps. And we'll put one TX-1 cube up in front and a prism, and then we'll run some of these windshields just for decoration. This will be a inner, and then we'll put some tetra here connected to those inners on the back. And if you want to use these decorative spikes for horns, you can do that, and the speedometer, which will fit right here, right in front of the pilot's face. But if you don't have these decorative blocks, don't worry about it. You don't need them. You can add any decorative blocks you have, or flags, or whatever you want to do. We'll put our radar up here on the front, and our radar jammer on the back. And now let's go ahead and attach our curved arrow rods for our gun mounts. Now the rear ones are one block lower than the one in front, just so it gives us a little bit better clearance when we're shooting forward. And then we're going to put one of our Mark 10 plasma cannons on the TX-1 cube in the front. And then all the other ones attached to the arrow rods here on the bottom. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Gamer Guide. Thank you very much for checking out and building the Taurus, and I hope it brings you lots of RP as it has for me. And I'll remind you to please thumbs up this video, leave a comment, and if you're new here, subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time here for another episode on Gamer Guide channel. Later.